Meta is testing its first in-house AI training chip, marking a major step towards custom silicon development. This is the story today. The initiative aims to cut infrastructure costs while enhancing AI capabilities as a company plans substantial investments. Now, if testing is successful, Meta will actually increase production of this chip, which is designed specifically for AI tasks. And what does Meta want out of this? Well, it's hoping to leverage the innovations for improved recommendation systems and generative AI products by 2026. Brad Gastworth, I'm already scared of how much Meta knows about me when it comes to, I mean, gosh, when I look through my Facebook feed these days, because no one posts anymore, it's just guessing I like Labradors, which is true, I've got a Labrador. But some of the other things are really spot on. We obviously saw cookies. Apple got in the way of Meta when it came to banning cookies, making it really hard for Facebook and Instagram to track what you're doing to bring those sales across to the Meta platforms. Is this their way around that, to try and use AI to bring it in-house, to not rely on cookies, and to make sure the algorithm knows you better than you know you?
Not trusting Zuck here, Aaron? Come on. No, obviously there's a lot to be concerned about. I mean, look, he's been somebody that has taken a lot of.
Well, I mean, Jeff Bezos is looking for a new Bond villain. Come on, we've got to create someone here.
No, absolutely. I would say actually there is a concern. The company has taken a lot of personal information. They've denied it in the past. They've been caught with things that they've said that have not been truthful. Now they're building a chip that's actually going to, be the nuts and bolts of the AI systems. I think, what they'll be able to track is going to be quite interesting. And, will governments get involved? I think they will. I think Meta's too large that they will not get involved. But, I think, a lot of these companies are trying to produce their own chips, right? We have Apple producing its own chips. We have Meta. We have Samsung. We have a lot of companies that do produce and have tried to. Will they replace Nvidia? They're not going to be as good as Nvidia, but this is a concern for Nvidia, because if all these companies now become, able to build something that is good enough in certain feature sets, it raises the question. And with companies that sky high valuations, it could put pressure. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would trust in terms of coming out of that chip from Meta.
All right. Few questions here, and I know you love a long-winded question. You mentioned Apple and its own silicon. That's because they couldn't rely on Intel, and if you compare an Intel chip compared to Apple silicon chip, the M1 itself was just a massive improvement. Facebook doesn't make computer devices at this stage, so what are they using it for? The second thing is that we have seen last year billions of dollars being spent on AI computer chips to essentially sit in storage facilities in the hope that we will find a way to use them. And while we're all using the software and it's all very lovely, the revenue generated for the amount of money which has been spent on AI by investors is not there. And I don't know about you, I can't see a clear path to when it will be there. So Meta getting involved, does this become another one of Mark Zuckerberg's big jump on the bandwagon ideas that turns out in little 2D people without any legs in the metaverse?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of these large tech giants have gone into different markets and spent tremendous amount of money, billions or tens of even hundreds of billions, and things have flopped. Like, so let's look at Apple when they went to go for their EV vehicle. They spent,
disaster.
50 billion plus, and a disaster. And then you have, Meta, they've been doing actually internal chips for some time. They tried to get it originally with their AR, VR side. Then they were trying to do it a little bit, trying on the data center. But now, they've had teams and they're spending,
but it just feels like they're trying to be everyone, right? They're trying to be Apple, they're trying to be Nvidia, they're trying to be Microsoft with the data center, as you say. They're trying to be a computer game company as well. But in the end, we're just using Facebook for Messenger and Instagram to look at hot people.
Yeah, I mean, I think Instagram is one of their most valuable assets. I think the company is trying to find a new way, because the metaverse is coming, but maybe we're still 20 years away from it really being something that is a daily aspect of people's lives. So, I think, Zuckerberg is a good visionary. I think he's incredibly smart. I don't think he goes around things the right way either. But I think in terms of spending money, I mean, it just shows you how much money these companies are making, that they can waste so much on these side projects. Now, will the side project actually become beneficial for them? It's possible. I think it's actually likely that it will because of how much money they're throwing at it. But will it yield dividends? That's really the question. And you hit it on the head. I'm not sure at this point. But the company's also going to be benefiting a little bit with all this TikTok news, right? With, depending on what happens, they've been benefiting just from that disaster. So, ultimately, a lot of these companies have spent
Yeah.
so much money on a lot of failing businesses. This one by itself, I think they'll succeed. The level of how well they'll succeed is unknown.
My favourite thing is that, and something worth mentioning, we'll leave you with this one. Do you remember the inauguration where all of those tech billionaires were standing at the inauguration behind Donald Trump? Well, if you add up the amount that they have lost since the inauguration, those men who were standing there, we're now at 240 billion US dollars in the space of just over a month. So let's see how things.
I was going to say it's going to be higher than that.
Let's see how things pan out. Always appreciate your time, Brad Gastworth there from Unearthing Opportunities. Talk soon.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it.